Hello and welcome to another episode of the Abundantly Successful Show, the show for conscious entrepreneurs who have that deep desire to turn their passion into a successful and thriving business, all while making a huge impact in the world. I'm your host, Kay Sanders, also known as the creator of possibilities. And today we have another great topic and expert lined up that we're going to be talking about how to really go from a struggling a struggling employee to a successful entrepreneur. I mean, if you're listening and you're still in your job and you're like really frustrated, you're like, oh my God, I just want to quit my job. Really stay tuned because my expert today is Charlotte Howard. So she's a super amazing expert. She's an award-winning transformational lifestyle coach and also #1 international best-selling author. So I've had conversation with her before. She is really amazing. So she's going to tell us about how we can really go from, really the struggling employee that hates the job, that really just wants to go do what I'm so passionate about, to a successful entrepreneur. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Charlotte. Hello, Charlotte. Thanks for being here.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having me, Kay.
No, thanks for being here. It's definitely great. And, before we dive into the topic, because I think this is a really amazing topic that so many people are going to benefit from. But before we dive in, why don't you share with us a little bit about like who you are, what you do, and most of all, my favorite question, why you do what you do.
Awesome. Thank you for that. First and foremost, I'm a single mom of 4 kids, and I actually homeschool, and I have multiple businesses, one being as a publishing expert, Heart Center Women Publishing, a lifestyle coach there as well. And I come from a background as a beauty professional where I was a manager as well as a hairstylist. And many people don't know that. That's why I always have all these different hairstyles and all this other good stuff going on. But why I do what I do is because I'm really passionate about helping people to really do what it is that they absolutely love. It just melts my heart, with passion just to see other people doing what it is that they love so that they can have more time, more freedom, and just enjoying the finer things in life. And so that's why I do what I do.
Well, I definitely love it. So, let's dive into a topic. Let's talk a little bit about, how can you really go, what should you really think about when you are really stuck in your job and maybe you really hate your job and all you really want to do is do what you're passionate about, really go full-time in your business. Because I know there are so many entrepreneurs out there, they're still stuck in a job that they really hate and all they want is making that leap. So can we talk a little bit about that? Like how can you really go from that struggling employee to that successful entrepreneur?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing I always tell people when it comes to that is you have to assess yourself. Can you really afford to take that leap of transitioning from employee to entrepreneur? Meaning if today you wanted to stop working, do you have any funds set aside in your bank account, 401k, that type of thing? Do you have any of that set aside? And if you don't, I would then suggest to find out first what you are most passionate about, what it is that you truly desire to do, and actually go ahead and start doing some research on what it's going to actually cost for you to be able to start your entrepreneurial journey. It could be an internet-based business where it's a lower end startup cost. Or it may be something traditional that you already work in your current career that you just want to be doing it on your own. So if you have the funds and you're ready to go, of course you need to create a business plan and get that in place. But a lot of times there are ways for you to get access to additional funds for starting your own business. You can do some bartering. I always recommend getting a coach and things like that so that you can have someone holding you accountable and surrounding yourself around people that can actually uplift you and guide you on the, in the right direction. So the first step, of course, is, again, knowing what it is that your heart desires, what it is that you truly, truly want to do, and understanding part two, how much is it going to really take for you to, what type of income is it going to take for you to really enjoy that lifestyle that you really, really want, instead of transitioning right away. I want to share a story as well, because when I was working in corporate America as a beauty salon professional and manager, I was a hairstylist working over 80 hours a week, multiple salons. I was able to help these 2 salons get to 6 figures as a manager. And one thing that I kept having to do, because I was the manager, I kept having to come in and work when someone called out, as an employee calling out. As a manager, I had to keep being there. I had no time, no freedom. I barely saw my family. I barely saw my friends. And finally, I started having these pains in my hands, because you have to, as a stylist, you have to, and a manager, you have to do so much work. And so I went to the doctor, and my doctor said, Charlotte, you have to change your profession. And I didn't want to, have to change my profession, because I'm really passionate about beauty and just really serving people. And so I had to switch my profession. I had to step down. I got my position was taken away, dismissed. I had to train the person that was actually taking over my position. And to make a long story short, what I'm saying to everyone that's listening into this interview, you don't want to be someone like me who was forced to actually figure out what it is that you need to do. I had to go in, of course, and reevaluate how I was going to take what I had learned in corporate America and transition into entrepreneurship, because I didn't want to, basically take all of the information and knowledge and skills that I had learned and stop doing what I was doing already completely. And so I got into consulting and coaching in the beauty industry. And then that was my initial niche. And then I started getting women from all different types of backgrounds. They saw what I was doing. They knew that I was helping and mentoring beauty industry professionals. But then they said, you can help me too. And that's when I started getting into getting certified as a lifestyle coach and started with all my other businesses as well. And so I always say that everyone has a skill that can definitely be utilized in the entrepreneurship world. And so I just want to say and encourage you, if you are on the fence about thinking about getting into entrepreneurship so that you can have more control of your life, then I would definitely, not just control of your life, but also control of your income, because that was like a big deal for me. I was a single mom and trying to figure out how I was going to put food on the table, how I was going to continue paying my bills. I took a big pay cut. But when I went online and searched online looking for, you type it in, Googling work from home, how to make money online and all this different stuff, I got scammed. I got so much money stolen. And you want to make sure you're working with legitimate people that has your best interest at heart. And so with that being said, I just want to encourage you to just research and definitely take action on moving forward.
Now, I mean, the majority of our listeners, I mean, I'm guessing they're already in business. That's like, the show is for the conscious entrepreneur who already is in business. But I know, like, many of them might still be in that, employee state. So what can you say to them? Like, how can you really make that leap from that into a successful business? Because I know building a business is very difficult. It's very challenging. It takes time. So how can you really then make that, still be an employee and still work your business and grow your business to the point where you can then say, okay, now I'm at the point, now I have the income, now I have the clientele, now I can make that leap.
Yes, absolutely. So I always tell people, if you're an employee right now and you really want to take the leap, I would start by first taking your information, that the knowledge that you already have, and actually packaging it, into something that you can sell, that then you can help, that could actually help you to fund your project that you're looking to actually get started on. When I transitioned, I started with a book, and I always encourage my clients to start with a book, because it's like a stepping stone to where, like, it's going to really help you to stand out from everyone else that's in your particular industry. You can start, even if you're already in as an employee, start by consulting, getting yourself out there. If people don't know that what you're doing, then they just don't know. And if you're already doing your current, whether you're not doing, you may be someone that you're not doing what you currently want to do in the entrepreneurship world. Take that leap and go ahead and create a business plan and a plan of action. Write down take a piece of paper and write down the things that you love to do, and then implement on what the next step is going to, what it's going to take for you to actually put it into action. Because at the end of the day, you can write down things all day long, but until you take action on it, and even if you don't have the funds, you could raise capital while you're an employee, and get you some startup capital to really help fund your business as well. Even you don't have to have a product specifically when you're starting out, just doing some consulting, because you may be someone that already has the skills but just haven't packaged it all up. I think a lot of people, they get stuck because they don't have everything packaged up just yet. But you could start with a consult and be working on your product during the same week as you're releasing your next coaching program, whether that's group coaching or personal one-on-one. I want to say that I did start it off with one-on-one, but as time permits, group coaching is going to really help you touch more people's lives by doing group coaching, and have a few VIP clients as well, doing personal one-on-ones.
Yeah, it also lets you leverage your time as well. I mean, not just, working with more people, but also leverage your time. Now, I just want to say, I like that you mentioned the book. I mean, actually, next week, one of my solo episodes is why you should write a book. So you definitely want to stay tuned for that one. I mean, I think it's really powerful for strategy. But what would you say is the most challenging, aspect of growing a business? Especially in the beginning years.
In the beginning years, it's like you hit a wall, because you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm not, if you're like me, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just starting out. You get a little scared. You're like, oh my gosh, like I'm not where I want to be with the income wise. And so I learned real quick to really start surrounding myself around like-minded people who could also, they see the value that I'm putting out into the world, and they're happy to share your gifts and talents with everyone else, because they have seen your work, they've experienced who you are. And so I would say just understanding how to reach your target audience, because before you even start marketing, you definitely want to find out what it is that your target audience is, like their needs are, so that you can provide a solution. Don't be like me and just go ahead and start marketing and not understand clearly. It wasn't until I started asking more questions, started doing my show where I would get information from it within the field to find out what it was that people in my industry were looking for specifically. Going on Google and researching and just finding out different questions before starting on different. You can check different forums to find out what it is that that people actually are looking for, and then you provide the solution to them.
Mm-hmm. I really love that you mentioned that, because I see so many people, they're like, I work with anyone that needs help. The problem is, like, if you're working with everyone and you're really more of a generalist, and like, I mean, if you have an illness, you go to a specialist, right? You don't just go to a
Yes.
general doctor. And I think it's the same. I mean, it's the same thing when it comes to anything that you're doing in your business. And also, like you mentioned with the marketing, I mean, it's so important that you know who your ideal clients are, you know, what do they want, and then you give it to them, rather than saying, this is what I do, and I can help you, and I don't know how exactly I'm going to help you, but I can help you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I've wasted a lot of money just putting it out there. And it's like, you don't want to, I mean, when I say a lot of money, I mean thousands of dollars. But, you know, you learn from those different challenges so that you can share what not to do so that people can do the right things.
And you mentioned earlier, you know, one of the things that you mentioned was working with a coach. I mean, is that what you did? Did you work with a coach like right away?
Right away, because I had already invested so much money in doing so many things that didn't work. And when I got that coach, it's like she guided me on what I should be doing to turn my passion into profit so that I can serve more people at the same time. So I would say the sooner you can get a coach, the better.
You know, I was one of those coaches who didn't get a coach, you know, initially. And yeah, I paid very, very dearly for that. So it sounds like that you really have to get all your ducks in a row first before you can really get to the point where, like, okay, now I'm at the point, now I'm ready to quit my job, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then what else should we think about? Like, should the listeners think about, like, when they're, you know, still in the business? Because, you know, like I said, you know, I hear it so many times when they still work in their job and like, I'm not fulfilled. I hate this. I got to go there every single day and sit there all day long and do all these things. I rather want to be at home. I mean, what would you say to those people that really are so sick and tired of being in their job, but their business is still not where it should be or where it could be, so it will support them?
Absolutely. Well, like I mentioned before, we all have different gifts that we can utilize. So I always encourage, like, many of my clients who have different gifts that they can utilize. There are different freelance work that they can leverage and get into, create their resume so that they can tap into bringing in additional income while they are still working as an employee, so that they can use their skills. And there are always people that are looking for whether it's a virtual assistant, whether it's a personal assistant, whether it's someone to be a part of their team to really help to get more time in and leverage their already successful business. You could actually tap into freelancing more so, using sites like Upwork and Elance and all these other different sites. And just when people see your resume and see different, your type of work and see the different testimonials, that's another way for you to tap in to get different income coming in addition to, you creating your different programs and coaching and consulting. So it's like you want to have multiple different things, set up so that you have passive income coming in. And even if you haven't already created your own product, you don't have to already have your product created. You could promote someone else's program that that they are paying a referral fee to you to be in partnership with them to promote their product, and then you can use that to capitalize on funding your business at the same time, especially if you believe in what the program or product that the person has. You don't already have to have that. So that's another great way for you to then fund your business while you're working as an employee as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, what would you say would be the mindset behind all of that? Like, going from that struggling employee to that successful entrepreneur. What do you think is the mindset behind all that?
Well, you definitely have to have a go. I like to say a go-getter mindset, because There will be times where you, as an entrepreneur, you'll hit a roadblock. Even as an employee, still you'll hit a roadblock. But you have to have the mindset of, this is a business, and I have to stick with it no matter what, because remember, you are building a legacy for you and your family. You want more freedom. You know what it is, what the reason is that you are starting your business. So having clarity on the reason, the why behind why you are doing it is going to push you harder in staying committed to the work that you absolutely want to do as well. And even as an employee, with me when I was a manager, I had to adopt the entrepreneurship mindset, because I knew that in order for me to be as successful as I needed to be and get the businesses up to 6 figures, I knew that I had to have the right mindset, because if you don't have the right mindset, even the employees that are working there, they won't, it's like they can sense that, that energy, because, energy, I always say energy is everything. Yeah. And you want to make sure that you are setting the right type of energy into play so that you can stay focused on your overall goals and everything like that. You want to have a strong enough why that will push you and make you get out of bed, even if you've been on a 40-hour week or 80-hour week job, you still are excited to get to doing your business, because it is what you are absolutely passionate about. So you definitely want to have that in place.
Yeah, most definitely. But now, as you probably know, entrepreneurship is not always that easy, right?
No, it is not.
I like to call it a wild roller coaster ride.
Yes.
So how can you really stay focused on, what you want to create, especially like if you are working those long hours, being an employee, working your business, coming up with all these roadblocks, being exhausted. What can you really do to stay focused on, to keep moving forward, to keep going, even though you might have some so-called failures that didn't really go so well? What can you do to really move forward on that one?
I would absolutely say, get a coach if you can. Get yourself around like-minded people, so when you are not feeling like you can go on and they're holding you accountable, because it's like if you're being held accountable and you're being a part of a community like what you have, Kay, it's like it's pushing people to really stay accountable to taking action on their dreams at the same time as well. So you definitely want to make sure that you are aligning yourself with like-minded people, so that they can hold you accountable when you are hitting, like I like to say, hitting a wall and you just want to throw in a towel. You want to make sure that you are definitely having someone that can lift you up when you have that happen to you.
And I just want to kind of point out the one word you said, like-minded, because you might think that your spouse or your friends or whatever can help you hold you accountable. But okay, let's put it like this. What would you say compared to when you have someone that is not an entrepreneur versus when you hang out with people that are entrepreneurs, since you mentioned that whole word, like-minded? So,
oh my gosh. So when I first got started, oh my gosh, because I've been an employee like forever. And then because I actually did it while I got into entrepreneurship while I was an employee as well. So I can definitely relate. Well, when I mentioned to my family, some of my family now, not all of them, when I mentioned to my friends, they were like, girl, you need to just work on a job. Like you don't need to get into entrepreneurship. Oh, you're not going to do good. You're just going to fail. And if my self-esteem was like really low, if I had given up, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. But at the same time, when you have that going on, just say it's someone that doesn't it's just saying someone that has a low self-esteem, and they don't believe in themselves. It kind of makes them, makes them throw in the towel. So I just want to say, you just have to. It's so crucial that you surround yourself with like-minded people, because you need someone that's going to encourage you, uplift you, motivate you. Even though you're already motivated, you're self-motivated, you want someone else that say, yay, Kate, great job. I'm so excited for you. You're doing great things. I love, I just watched your interview. I just saw your show. It's like you want people that's cheering you on. And it really does help when you have that. But otherwise, it's like you're working on someone else's dream instead of working on your dream. And everyone it's like entrepreneurship is not for everyone, but it is for some of us who actually want to have more freedom, more time, and do the finer things in life and serve in a bigger capacity. It's so important to be able to do that. I know many people, they absolutely aren't into entrepreneurship, and that's perfectly fine. But for those of us who want more time, more freedom, and want to build a legacy, I want to encourage you to take action on it.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, not everyone is made for, being an entrepreneur, but if your family are all in that, employee mindset, they really can't hold you accountable. I mean, I've had friends before when, especially more on the guy side, when I was dating people, they were just not entrepreneur minded. So whenever I was telling them about, me working so many hours, they're like, why do you work so much? I'm like, well, it's my business. I mean, I believe entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. Like being an employee, it's more like, okay, you go there 9 to 5, you're done with it. It's a thing you do, but being an employee, it's a thing you live. At least that's like my philosophy. It's like you live it, breathe it. I mean, I think about my business 24/7. Even in my sleep, I think about I'm woken up in the morning. I'm like, man, why did I just dream about, the things that I want to do? I had a dream about my show the other day. I'm like, what?
Yes. That is awesome. Yes.
Not everyone really understands that. So I think it's so very important that, especially when you're going through that challenging time, that you have those accountability partners. I have an accountability partner, and whenever I have a really hard time, she basically kicks me in the behind to get me straight. If I wouldn't have her, I would be like, oh, screw everything, I give up. And you get to that point. I mean, I don't know, have you ever gotten to a point in your journey where you almost say, you know what, screw everything, I give up, this is not working? And did you ever experience anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. Because I was surrounded by family and friends that weren't into entrepreneurship. And I was like, oh my God, I guess I'll just quit. But then I took a break for a week to, just to kind of get a breather. And I was like, you know what? I'm not quitting, because I always say they want to put you in the box with them. I said, I'm not doing that. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And I haven't looked back ever since, because again, finding new friends. And, you still love on your old friends, you see them, talk to them every once in a while, and your family and all of that, you still love on them and everything, but they are not going to have the same mission and vision as you will. But when they see you succeeding, now, even my brother and sister, now they're getting into entrepreneurship.
Wow.
Before they were like, oh, I don't know, but now it's like they're getting into it now, and it's like, I told you, you need this. But everyone, it just brings me to saying this: the timing might not be right for everyone right then and there. They had to see, what I was up to and what I'm doing, and having more time and freedom and all that to be able to see, like if a family member gets sick, you're able to, you don't have to worry about saying, oh my gosh, I got to get off work. Because I had issues with when I was as an employee. I had all my employees call, sometimes they would call out because they had, like, their kid got sick, or if my kid got sick, and it would be like pulling teeth literally when I had corporate down my back saying, that's not going to work. They still have to come in and you're going to have to fire them. And I didn't want to have to fire anyone. It's just, it makes me, I don't want to be, I'm one of these people that I like to keep calm. I don't like to keep a lot of chaos going. A lot of people like to call me the person that if someone has an argument, I'm the person that helps everyone just get by and calm everyone down. So I don't like a lot of chaos going on. I'm the peacemaker, if you will, and I've always been like that. And even some of the employees that I've had and I had to let them go, I would still help them out by referring them another place where they could work. Just giving them, because we would still be friends, even though I would fire them. And that's what a lot of people be like, how do you still be friends with someone that you fired them? But that's just because of the person that I am. I love helping people. And it wasn't me that I had to do what corporate was telling me to do. And I really didn't want to have to do that. And so it's a lot of pressure when you have someone down your back. But as an entrepreneur, I felt a sense of relief when I was able to walk away and not have to turn back. And that's what I want for everyone to be able to do. Not have people down your back, making you do things that you are absolutely uncomfortable with. And even in entrepreneurship, I feel that there will be times where you may be uncomfortable, but you have to be uncomfortable before you can get comfortable. And I went through all of that, and I just encourage everyone to just don't get caught up with that situation like that.
One thing I really love about, the struggle from being an entrepreneur, and that just sounded totally weird in the context, right? What I love about the struggle is who you actually become in the process. I mean, if I look back how I was before, like I started in a coach in 2012, like when I look back who I was then and who I am now, it's like night and day. And yes, I mean, I believe that every entrepreneur goes through a whole lot of crap. Sorry my language, but I think everyone goes through that. And even those who say, oh yeah, my journey was easy peasy, never had any problems, I call it the bull. I mean, I'm sorry, but you have to go through all these challenges because you don't know what you don't know. And the only way you will know is by failing, learning the lessons, experiencing stuff, growing as a person. So that's one of the things I can really say that was the most amazing part about the journey of being an entrepreneur. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Did you experience it too?
I absolutely love it because it's like I've learned so much from the struggle. And I think it made me a better person. I absolutely think it made me a better person because I feel like if everything is like so easy, then what would I have to, I like to say, what would I have to complain about to anyone? If everything was so easy, I mean, I learned from those lessons, those experiences that I've had. I've learned from them, and it made me an absolute stronger person. And I can relate more to the people that are looking to transition. I understand that if they didn't have enough money at the time, especially working as an employee, and how you may not have had everything up. You might not have had a website even up yet. Like I've had, I didn't have a website. You may have been someone that had to build your own website when you first got started. And that way you can, until someone can afford, different types of website. You might be like me and you might love actually as when you're being therapeutic, sometimes you might want to just make different things like working on graphics and websites and doing that in your spare time after you taught your team to do it as well. So I know, Kay, you do amazing things like that yourself. So I mean, it's just everybody has to find what it is that they are absolutely passionate about and just go after it and take action.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now, I mean, we are kind of coming towards the end of our episode. I mean, is there anything else that, any last words of advice, any last thoughts that you would like to leave us with?
I would just say, go out and research what it is that you're actually looking to do. Go out today, starting right now, take out a piece of paper, write down the things that you are absolutely passionate about doing. And then if you can get a coach and actually have your coach help you create a plan of action on what it will take for you to reach your specific goal, your income goals, your lifestyle goals, everything that you absolutely want to achieve. Let that coach help you with that. If you can't afford a coach, then absolutely get involved in like a community like Kay has, where she pushes you, to go to new heights. It's like you want to just surround yourself with like-minded people as well. I have a community as well. It's just, you want to make sure that you're in a place where you have people that's going to hold you accountable and be supportive. Because I understand when you're just starting out, you may not have the funds right then and there to get started, but we have these groups that you can take advantage of. Definitely take advantage of it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for sharing that. Now, if any one of the listeners would like to get a hold of you, learn a little bit more about all the amazing things that you do, where can they find you? How can they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. You can contact me by going to www.heartcenteredwomenpublishing.com. Also, you will have access to the freebies that I have available so that you can start creating your dream life as well. And you can also find me on all of social media. If you just type in Charlotte Howard, you'll definitely find me everywhere. Just like Kay, I'm everywhere. You can just find me that way as well.
And you mentioned freebie. I mean, do you specifically for the listeners, do you have a specific freebie or bonus you would like to offer?
Yes. So I have within the community, you can get access to my free Create Your Dream Life community, where I have lots of resources. That's over $1,000 in resources available for people that are transitioning into entrepreneurship, and even those that are entrepreneurs, to get access to resources from amazing people like Kay, her interviews and things like that. You'll have access to all of that, as well as reports, tip sheets, cheat sheets, and things to really help you carve out your dream lifestyle as well. What it is that you're passionate about, and putting it into action so that you can then serve your audience.
Wow, that's an amazing freebie. So yeah, thanks so much for sharing it. And the links will be in the show notes, so they can you can guys just click on it and go to it, click on it, and enjoy all the freebies. So Charlotte, thank you so much for being here, for sharing all the great wisdom and knowledge with me and the audience. I really appreciate for being on my show this time. I know I've been on yours twice, so it's a great change to be on the other side.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share. And I absolutely adore everything that you do. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
No, thank you. And I also want to thank you guys again, for tuning in again. I mean, I hope you got some value, a lot of value out of today's episode. I mean, if you're really still stuck in your job, one of the things I like to say is see it as the vehicle that's going to fuel your business. Because if you don't have a lot of money with your business yet, if you're not at a point right now where you can actually walk away from your business, see it as that vehicle, that the fuel that really helps you grow your business, because then you don't have to sit there and struggle like, how am I going to make the money and stuff. So, be okay with where you're at in your business, because there's still some things that you may still need to learn. And that's me for, talking from the mindset perspective about, like, think about, what's holding you back from really making that leap. But, don't overthink. Don't rush into it, because, there are many entrepreneurs out there, they rush into quitting the job and then they're struggling. So we don't want that. So really think about, and one of the previous interviews was also like, what kind of questions can you ask before you take that leap? But we are here. We want to help you really make that leap. If you're still in your job, we're here to help you make that leap. So hopefully these interviews are beneficial to you. Hopefully you take a lot of value away from that. That's why we're coming here together. That's why I created this show, to bring you the tips, the tricks, the strategies to help you really grow your business, so you can, make a big impact in work. So with that said, make sure you go to abundantly-successful.com to look at the show notes, to read all the everything else about the show, to get to the links, to learn more about, the amazing experts, learn more about, Charlotte as well today. And, leave a comment below. If you have any questions, leave a comment, like it, share it, subscribe to the YouTube channel to make sure that you're getting notified of the next upcoming interviews. And with that said, earlier I already mentioned, next week, the solo episode is actually going to be about why you should write a book. So stay tuned. Make sure you tune in, and because you're going to learn a lot. So with that said, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have an abundantly successful day.